RecTech, more than a grill, a lifestyle. Smart grill technology allows for even heat. Can't go wrong. Built by grillers for grillers. RecTech with a Q.com. So here's a rumor that's very interesting. Chris Paul, we thought his career was done. Clippers, people were disappointed. Goes to Houston, really good. Gets hurt, it's over. Goes to Oklahoma City. Wow. Shocking team of the year. But Chris Paul's always loved Los Angeles. Reportedly wants to come back. Wants to leave Oklahoma City. And the Lakers are interested, and Chris Paul wants to play with LeBron James. 2 years left on his deal, $85 million. What do the Lakers care? They just want one title in 2 years, and they just won a title many are surprised by. You'd have to give up Danny Green, Kyle Kuzma, Avery Bradley, and Quinn Cook. Here's why I love this. Remember this. Championship teams need to always tweak. They need to add juice and energy. And I was reading a business book earlier this year. And they said, what kills every great company is always the same thing. It's arrogance. It's this belief we've got it figured out, we've got it solved, that even when you're a championship team, it is the easiest time to sell to your employees a tweak because the bosses have to be smart. You just had great earnings. It's very difficult to take your staff, to take your team when you're struggling and say, all right, this didn't work. We're going to try something new. That's tough. But when you're a champion and you tweak, there's an understanding with the employees, oh, they know what they're doing. They just let us do a championship. Michael Jordan's Bulls, the first three-peat and the second three-peat, they were different teams. The Warriors, they had Shane Battier. They win a title. Then they add Ray Allen. They kept adding juice. The Warriors had won a title loss. They bring in KD. They win a couple of titles. They bring in DeMarcus Cousins. The Lakers need juice. That's not that they're not good, but remember, they flew through Portland and flew through Houston, and they frankly flew through Denver, and they ended up beating Miami by like 30 points or 20 points, although it was a blowout. You have got to add a dimension to this team, something else, and now is the time, and Chris Paul is the perfect fit. Number one, super high IQ basketball player. LeBron has no interest teaching you how to play basketball. This is a high-functioning IQ basketball team. LeBron, the center of it. Adding Chris Paul makes a lot of sense. Secondly, like Miami with LeBron, this is a market that is attractive to free agents. You start adding Chris Paul and LeBron, Anthony Davis, that's a championship team. You will attract older players who have made their money, and only thing missing is a ring. That's how you get like a Shane Battier. That's how you get like a Warriors can get a guy that will take a little less. So I think the Chris Paul Laker rumors are real. Chris Paul loves L.A. LeBron loves smart veteran players. And by the way, the Western Conference is all about guards. Who's the emerging stars? Devin Booker and Jamal Murray, guards. What does Chris Paul do? Play defense. If you really look at the number one threat next year to the Lakers, it's not the Clippers. It's probably the Warriors. What are they built on? Steph and Clay, backcourt. A stingy, tough, physical guard in Chris Paul, veteran, high basketball IQ, is a perfect fit for the Lakers. And here's Broadway Joy Taylor with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herdline News.
That's how you should do the entire...
I can't sing, though. I love Broadway, though. So Le'Veon Bell is signing with the Kansas City Chiefs. He agreed to join the reigning Super Bowl champs on a one-year deal. He tweeted his excitement after the news broke, saying, Kansas City, hashtag Chiefs Kingdom. Thank you for the opportunity. Let's go. They're quick with these edits, aren't they?
No kidding.
Like, just ready to go.
Boom, New Jersey.
Yep. So far this season, he's had 19 carries, 74 yards in 2 games. He won't be available Monday night against the Bills because he has to complete COVID protocol.
Yeah.
So his first game with the Chiefs will be facing the New York Jets.
Oh, my gosh.
In Week 8. The Chiefs are obviously having a great season, but they're 13th in rushing yards per game, 119.4. Obviously, they have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Darrell Williams, Darwin Thompson, and DeAndre Washington. Damian Williams decided to opt out this season, so they could use a little bit of help. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been running well, but he is still a rookie, so this is a significant piece for them.
And I think Le'Veon Bell was in a great organization, then went to a crappy one, and he could have gone to a lot of places. But instead of choosing revenge and going to the Bills or revenge on the Jets and going to the Dolphins, who he would play twice a year, he went, okay, I'm not going to go for stats and carries. I'm going to go for culture, stability, winning. And this is a really smart decision. I didn't like him taking the Jets outside of Pittsburgh. Really good, stable organization to dumpster fire. Now he goes, I think he learned from it. He said, you know what? I'm going to go back to where I flourished, which is stability, maturity, play calling. I think, now again, I don't know how much left in the tank, but as a red zone weapon, very good out of the backfield. Andy Reid's very clever. Le'Veon Bell he'll at least semi-flourish within a month in this system.
Well, it's just like everything you were just saying with Chris Paul and the Lakers. Like, you just can't get complacent. Just because you are a Super Bowl winning organization, you're playing well, you have Patrick Mahomes, everything is still clicking. Forget this Raiders loss, right? It's not the end of the world in Kansas City. Keep retooling, keep upgrading, keep adding new pieces. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but this is a great situation for Le'Veon Bell and for Kansas City. It's a one-year deal. Why not? He may be able to play Week 7 against the Broncos, so the Jets might not be his first game back, but either way, he's going to be playing the Jets very, very soon. And then that, I'm sure that quote from Adam Gase about it's irrelevant how we used him will be circulating everywhere
that is
week.
So, it always works that way. You get picked up by a team, and 2 weeks later, you break up with somebody, swear to God, they're at Walgreens every time you are. it never fails.
Well,
You bump into
you
them.
guys had the same routine for a while.
Yeah.
So the Clippers are built around Kawhi Leonard, but some of his teammates are reportedly unhappy that he gets special treatment from the organization, according to The Athletic. Players like Patrick Beverley, Montrezl Harrell, and Lou Williams bristled when Kawhi was allowed to take games off and live in San Diego, which often made him late for team flights. The team also reportedly allowed Kawhi to dictate when he would be pulled from games. He played in 57 of 72 regular season games this season. For comparison, LeBron played in 67 of the 71 regular season games this season. 72 regular season games this season. Anyway, Ty Lue just signed a 5-year deal. He's already been in the building, so he's very aware of this situation, what this story is about, how much meat is on the bone with this situation. I will say this. I really don't get excited to hear that the team is upset with special treatment of the superstars. It's always very confusing to me. But I also feel like that responsibility to keep the team energy fluid and to keep that animosity low is on the superstar that's getting the special treatment.
No, it is. Here's the thing. The Clippers brand right before Kawhi got there was play hard. There was a bunch of overachievers. And then Kawhi engineered a deal with Paul George. They brought 2 stars in. And the stars get a little extra benefit. So I think the hard thing is maybe it was asking a lot in a 6-month bubble to say, okay, here's the team culture, which is like a bunch of overachievers, right? Like people that doubt a lot of these people. They've been moved, they've been traded, they're off the bench, Lou Williams. And that was the culture, had a low ceiling, but it was a good culture and it was a winning culture. And then you bring stars in and the culture is, no, we're going to take some, our ceiling's going to be way higher, but we're going to change our culture. So Ty Lue, Doc, obviously, there was some acknowledgement within the organization. They were a little entitled. And Doc's a veteran coach. He takes care of stars. And that may have set some of the younger players off. So now Ty is going to, you don't have to totally fix this team.
No, but you have to pivot it.
You have to pivot and tweak it a little back to a little more of a grinding team. A little bit more. How about 12 days off, not 17 games off? Like, tweak it.
It's going to be tough for Kawhi to continue this level of load management going forward because you just saw what LeBron did. And obviously LeBron is on a different level.
But AD even played all the games.
But the load management thing, I think, is kind of out the window now. Obviously, guys are still going to take games off, as they should. Right. It's a very long season, and sometimes you just need a night off. Understandable. But that amount of games off is not going to be favorable moving forward. But again, I mean, we're in LA, right? Like, superstars get special treatment. All over in any business, superstars get special treatment.
The best sales guy gets an extra week of vacation. That's the way it works.
But you have to be responsible, knowing that you're the star, knowing that you're the leader. You have to be responsible to make sure that the guys that don't get that treatment don't feel that way, right? Like, it's on you. If you want the special treatment, you have to be responsible for everyone else when you're on a team. Once again, Clayton Kershaw came up short in the postseason start for the Dodgers. He returned to the mound in the 6th inning, having given up only 1 run so far, but the Braves opens up the floodgates with 3 straight hits to score 2 and knock Kershaw out of the game. The bullpen was not able to stop the surging Atlanta offense, who finished the inning with a 7-1 lead. and got the game 4 victory, 10-2.
Everybody's banging on Dave Roberts today because he should have pulled Kershaw batter earlier, but he had given up 1 run through 5 innings, and then in the 6th, he gave up an infield single and a double. And Dave Roberts said, I'm paying you $93 million 2 years. You got an extension. Okay, I'm going to give you 1 more batter. Like, the idea that Dave Roberts made some sort of gaffe, it's like their bullpen's the weakness of the team. Like, you're paying him to get – the reason you're paying him is not to get through the 2nd and 3rd inning. It's to get through the 6th.
Right.
So this is a moment where you give your guy, your bull, your guy, all right, you gave up an infield single and a double. And you go, and he knows you can look over to the dugout. You get 1 more batter, and he gave up a double, and then you pull him. But this idea that he never gets.
That's not on Roberts. It's not.
You're paying him to get through these 6th innings and 7th innings, and he has struggled. So and he's a generational talent, but he has not been the same guy. We see this all the time in sports.
Everyone is not the same in the postseason.
They're not.
Some people are just great regular season players.
Some guys get to. Paul George is a terrific player. He gets tight.
But that becomes a part of your legacy, and that's why people are kind of slamming Roberts, saying, like, this is the case, but you have to give him the opportunity.
Listen, what made Derek Jeter great, it's not that Derek was amazing in the postseason. Derek was a 300 hitter in the regular season, and he was a 300 hitter in the post. There was no dip. Derek was always a clutch player. It's Goulet will tell you. The criticism of A-Rod, he was unbelievable in the regular season, and there was a dip in the postseason. I think A-Rod had a couple of great series postseason against the Twins one year. But the difference was Jeter was the same guy. That's until this year, that was Kawhi. That's been LeBron. But we do have Paul George, James Harden, Clayton. They're maybe it's the anxiety. Maybe they're just they're out pitch. You face teams. I mean, I don't know the why. It's usually in the head. It's not the talent. But he's not the same guy in the ball.
He obviously has a talent, or we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Of course.
But it just is what it is. Like,
yes.
After a certain amount of body of work, like, we know this is the case. Coverage for now they're on the brink of elimination, obviously, in Game 5 tonight, and coverage begins at 8:30 Eastern on FS1.
Good stuff. Joy Taylor with the news.
Well, that's the news.